Welcome to the Community Development Department of the City of Zanesville. Despite its importance in the planning of our community, many people are not familiar with the concept of zoning. The purpose of this video is to educate you as landowners, business owners, and citizens of Zanesville about planning and zoning, permits, compliance, and how all of this affects you. What is zoning? Zoning is the regulation of land use by dividing urban areas into different zones. I will discuss the different zoning classifications in a moment. The zoning classification of an area affects the density, location, size, and type of buildings that are permitted there. The zoning map shows how land is classified. Now I'll discuss the various ways that land can be classified. One possible zoning classification is residential, which consists primarily of housing. Zanesville's code makes distinctions between single-family residences and multifamily residences. Another zoning classification is business, which includes both single offices, office buildings, and larger office parks. Industrial districts are specially designed to accommodate industries such as factories. Commercial districts contain most establishments intended for shopping, services, and consumerism. Commercial districts are subdivided into neighborhood, community and regional, downtown, and highway. There are also special zoning districts that may have additional uses or restrictions placed on them for a variety of reasons. Agricultural and estate districts allow farming and the raising of livestock. Historic overlays provide special protection to structures and neighborhoods with special historic, cultural, and/or architectural significance to preserve their character. Conservancy overlays employ additional requirements on land with special environmental concern. The arts and culture overlay is intended to expand the presence of and generally enhance the arts and culture in an area. Why is zoning important? Enforcement of the zoning code protects public health, safety, and welfare by promoting development that is healthy, safe, and more livable. Zoning affects your property, neighborhood, and city. It protects property values and the existing character of the city, and also provides a framework for sensible, fair, and smart land use. Now, how can you ensure that you are in compliance with the Planning and Zoning Code? Number one, you can know how to access the code. You can do this by going to www.coz.org. Number two, compliance with the zoning code means that you will need to obtain a permit from the zoning office for any permanent structure on public or private property. A structure, as defined by the City of Zanesville's ordinances, is anything erected, the use of which requires more or less permanent location in the ground or attachment to something having such a location. This definition includes, but is not limited to, buildings, walls, fences, antennas, signs, manufactured homes, garages, swimming pools, air conditioning units, driveways, and more. Permits are also required for excavation, demolition, or construction of a building, structure, or land in the city. Applications for permits can be obtained from City Hall, room 204, or from www.coz.org. Applications for zoning compliance address accessory structures, which include sheds, decks, fences, detached garages, swimming pools, walls, and more. Can also include new construction, either residential or commercial, permanent signs, temporary uses, or temporary signs or banners. There are multiple different types of permits that it's important to understand as well. If you are issued a permitted use, this means that you have submitted your application and materials and they have been approved, and you may now proceed according to your approved plans. A special use permit allows a parcel of land or property to be used in a manner that deviates from normally accepted activities in that area. The following is the approval criteria for special use permits. Number one, the use must be harmonious and compatible with the existing and surrounding land. For example, it would not be permissible, nor would it be a good idea for a factory to go into a commercial district. Number two, the property is physically suitable for the type and intensity of the proposed land use. For example, land intended for a factory must be able to support heavy industrial activity. Number three, street and highway facilities adequately provide access to the property. Number four, the use must not compromise public health, safety, or welfare, and must comply with the overarching objectives of the city's comprehensive plan, which can be found under the Community Development tab on www.coz.org. A conditional use permit is issued when an application is submitted proposing a use that is incompatible with the function or character of the surrounding area of the property. The Planning and Zoning Zoning Administrator can approve the application with conditions that make it compatible. A temporary use permit grants permission for non-permanent structures, businesses, etc. These permits must be obtained 30 days before you intend to start using it. Temporary use permits are valid for 30 days and can be renewed one time for a total of 60 days per calendar year. The Board of Zoning Appeals can approve a temporary use permit for longer. I will now outline and explain the permit application process step by step. Number 1. You can request a pre-filing conference with the Planning Commission. This step is optional, but it is recommended to offer you direction, advice, and guidance as you strive to construct a plan that complies with the city's ordinances. Step 2. Submit a completed application, site plan, and application fee to the Zoning Administrator. The Zoning Administrator can be located in room 204 of City Hall. Step 3. Hearings with the applicable board or commission are required for the following permit applications: amendments or rezoning, appeals, variances, or staff-referred conditional uses. A report will be prepared within 5 days of a decision by the Planning Commission, the Board of Zoning Appeals, the Historic Preservation Board, or the Downtown Design Review Board, whichever one is applicable to your particular case. Final step is to receive your permit and receipt from the Zoning Administrator. The following uses are encompassed by this procedure: conditional uses, temporary uses, variances, sign permits, appeals, zoning amendments, planned unit development preliminary plans, and planned unit development final plans. Now I will tell you some information regarding zoning that is crucial for citizens to be aware of. When implementing your approved and permitted plans, remember that you must follow the conditions that were approved at the issuance of your permit. For example, you cannot file for a permit for a 5-foot fence and then build an 8-foot fence. Number 2, a violation of the zoning code is a 4th-degree misdemeanor, which will likely result in a fine or jail time. In conclusion, compliance with the Planning and Zoning Code is essential to promote the best interest of the city in terms of safety, aesthetic character, and democracy, since, as a democratic society, we are dependent on a cooperative relationship between people and government. It is in the best interest of the community to ensure that your property is compliant and to report any suspected violations to the Zoning Code. For more information on planning and zoning, please see the Community Development webpage on www.coz.org or contact a member of the Community Development staff, which will be listed down below.